No words can describe what just happened here in Wingate. The Irish in their losing streak. Actually, they get their first win ever against the Signal Mountain Eagles, beating them 35-3. And it was just an upset that I did not see coming. Hello, this is Jake Chapman. With me is John Neal with River City Sports. And John, we watched that whole game, and I'll tell you right now, I couldn't believe it. Just because I haven't been exposed to Notre Dame and seen how much they've been playing. I haven't seen Kareem Moore. I haven't seen Alex Darius. I haven't seen Enos. I haven't seen any of these guys. And they play against probably one of the best teams in the area, and they didn't just win. They beat them. And it was just a shocker to see. So what do you think we can take from this game for both Notre Dame and Signal?
Well, Jake, starting it off, I guess you would say respect. Everybody was saying that Notre Dame needed to come in. It wouldn't be a rivalry before they were able to knock off the Eagles, and they knocked them off, and they did it handily tonight. And they earned some respect. Not saying they didn't already have some respect from that coaching staff, but as a whole area standpoint and fans and supporters, they earned respect from that team. And I don't believe they're satisfied, though, Jake. That's something you can take away from this Notre Dame team. They know they need to keep playing one game at a time to get back in that track of hosting playoffs in those 3As. But, I mean, when you got players like you just said, Enos on the defensive side of the ball and Banks and Orr on the offensive side of the ball, they look like a team that could win out and have a very deep playoff run and, maybe take on Alcoa for a 3A state championship. But on the other side, Signal Mountain, there's nothing to hang their hats about. Big things, a big turnover late in the third quarter. A.J. Flemister was able to pick off Jack Teeter. His first interception of the year just happened to be for a score for the other team. Sky Wilson went down with it looks like a significant injury to his left knee early in the first quarter on a drive that Signal Mountain opened up with, drove it all the way down to Notre Dame 3, wasn't able to capitalize after that, and you could totally tell that this Signal Mountain team is not the same team without Sky Wilson in the backfield running a little wing back for those Eagles. Also, another thing to note is Nick Spalding, a defensive back for Signal Mountain, went down. The top off the defense wasn't there in the second half when the Eagles really needed it. That led to a couple of big plays, a big-time 47-yard rush by Austin Banks, as you could note on that. But Signal Mountain, again, one loss is not going to kill this team. They're going to go back to the drawing board next week, and they can still win out as well. Greenville they play Greenville in 2 weeks. Will be another tough matchup for Signal Mountain, but I think they could win that one and get a good seeding in the playoffs. Might have to travel on the road the opening week because of losing this district game if Notre Dame was to go on and win that district. But Signal Mountain's going to bounce back, and they're going to be a very difficult team to beat. When you have a team that like a Notre Dame that could contend for a state championship and Signal Mountain without one of their star players for most of the night, it would be you could argue both ways that this game could have been very much closer if Sky Wilson was in the lineup for those Eagles.
And I say that it was a good win for the Irish. Signal, like you said, they don't need to lose anything from this. They've still got 3 games. They got CCS, Greenville, and Sequatchie. They will get better from this. Coach Price, I talked to him after the game. He's like, all we can do, we can't keep our heads down. We just got to shake this off, work hard for the next 2 weeks because we're on a bye next week. So really, Signal, their coaching staff handling well. The players a little beat up because this is the first loss they've had to Notre Dame. But we go to back to Notre Dame. I'm a believer now that this team could contend in the state. What do you think? Besides, we all know Austin Banks can run the ball, and we know Orr can catch, but Darius had a pretty good game as well. What do you think? Who do you think on the offensive side of the ball for Notre Dame is really going to have to step up these next couple of weeks?
I wouldn't particularly say just one particular player, Jake. I'd say as an overall of the role players at the wide receiver position for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Kareem Moore is going to get double teamed. He's going to get bracketed to one side of the field, and once they take away Kareem Moore, it's hard to take away Kareem Moore. He had 2 touchdowns on the night that just seemed easy for him. But if they bracket him like some teams have done, like Knox Catholic did, Darius is going to have to find that chemistry with those other receivers to really set this team apart late in the season or even in the playoffs.
And, we go to the defensive side of the ball with Enos. What do you have? How many tackles? 16, 20. I had about 30 at the end of the game because he was at every play. But Enos, he said during your interview, never be satisfied. Do you think he can lead this defense to never be satisfied and always make the strong play?
Well, I mean, I believe Tyler Enos is in the same category as Jeremiah Jackson for Ottawa.
Oh.
You could put this linebacking core up against those Ottawa Owls, and they could run, sideline to sideline just as well as them. He gives a lot of credit to the defensive line, and you have to look at there, like I said, if Notre Dame's defensive line could match the physicality of the Signal Mountain offensive line, they were going to win the game. They did that. Robert Murphy, Joe Dossett, who was kind of hampered early in the week with a shoulder injury. It was real nice to see him just. Dossett had a breakout game tonight. He was all over the field, flying around. You also have to give credit to Chris Hornsby. But, man, was Tyler Enos on his game tonight. Keeler Green, he had a little bit of an injury late in the fourth quarter, so that will be interesting to see if he can bounce back from that, and hopefully that's nothing significant. But those linebackers with Josh Russell and Keeler Green and Tyler Enos, man, they are good. They're just good, Jake.
But let's going back to Signal, and my underrated player of the year was Jack Teeter. He makes one mistake and it goes back to the end zone. And, Teeter played against probably the best defense he is going to play all season. And, it was a rough one. But how do you think Jack Teeter as a quarterback, as their offensive leader for Signal Mountain, how do you think he's going to have to progress forward in order for the Eagles to stay on top where they are?
Well, I wouldn't particularly say that Jack Teeter had a bad game. He had one bad play, which might have been the dagger in the foot.
No.
But I would just say, keep working on chemistry with the routes. They need to get more confidence in the receivers because if Sky Wilson's injury is real significant, he can't go for the remainder of the season or he's out for a couple of games, they're going to have to turn to, adding in Hunter Van Dyken in the backfield, mix up the running backs a little bit and get more chemistry and air the ball out just a little bit more and use that nice left arm that Jack Teeter has to get him some confidence going so he's not playing so close to the line of scrimmage. There was 2 or 3 plays where he tripped over his own players because those defensive linemen were just blowing off the ball for Notre Dame. But Jack Teeter, he's fine. Signal Mountain, is fine. It's one game. It's one game they haven't lost ever, and they've never lost a district game. So it'll be interesting how they bounce back. But they're going to be fine. No one needs to be throwing in the towel for Signal Mountain just because they lost one game.
Yeah, I agree with that with 100%. Teeter, to me, he's still one of the smartest quarterbacks and best game managers out there. Just everything was going the Irish's way tonight. Big plays, turnovers. The Irish had Signal Mountain had 3 possessions in the red zone and did not capitalize on it.
With inside the 3-yard line, Jake, you turn those into points, you turn those into touchdowns. This game is, sitting at 31, or 24-35 right now, and it's a completely different ball game.
It's funny how this is a game of literally inches because Signal had a 4th and a yard literally 3 times on those 3 drives, and they were stopped on all 3. So Notre Dame's defense, we were talking about, this Notre Dame defense in front 7's not going to be able to penetrate against this stout offensive line with Harrison Moon there. But they made Moon and that Signal Mountain offensive line work, and they really won the battle in the trenches. And that's what Coach Price was saying to practice. This game is going to be decided in the trenches, and Notre Dame won in the trenches.
This is John Neal for River City Sports reporting from our game of the week. With me is senior defensive back A.J. Fleminster, fresh off pretty much what we would consider the dagger play of the night, return for a touchdown interception. You had a few that you could have got early in the game, A.J., but you finally got you one. How does it feel? Where does this team go from now? And just talk to me about that.
This is probably the best feeling I done had my whole 4 years of playing at Notre Dame. We downplay a lot of games and we say every week, but everybody know in the back of their head that game they really want and we really want this year is the Signal Mountain game. And we finally put it off, and with me being able to make that play at the end of the game, it's just indescribable. I can't describe the feeling I got. I just knew I had a play to make and seized the opportunity.
Well, sitting at 5-1, 3-0 now in the district, giving them their first ever district 7 AA loss. Where does this team go now from a defensive standpoint?
Defensive standpoint, I mean, we just got to keep working, keep getting better, because it's always room for improvement. So we just got to keep getting better and prepare for next week, because we got a Polk team that, I mean, they might haven't been winning lately, but I feel like they can pull it out if we come around and we just go through the motions and stuff like that. We can let that one slip away, and coming off a big win like that, it's easy to lose focus of stuff like that. So, I mean, we just got to keep preparing, keep getting better, because we're not done yet.
AJ Fleminster already answering questions I haven't even asked, predicting what I'm going to do, like quarterbacks, like you predict where they're going to throw it. But next week, Notre Dame, who y'all got?
We got Polk County.
Got Polk County. They're going to celebrate tonight, get back to some film tomorrow and Sunday, get back in it on Monday. But this is John Neal reporting for our Game of the Week.
And welcome back to River City Sports. I'm Jake Chapman. Here with me, standout Kareem Moore, and quarterback for the Irish, Alex Darius. And guys, first time you guys will get the chance to beat Signal. You beat them, you didn't just barely beat them. You beat them 35-3.
Yes, sir.
So what's going through your guys' heads right now? What did you guys do to make sure that you guys were in charge the entire game?
Preparation all week, and even through the bye week was preparation. We was preparing for this win.
What about you, Alex?
Same thing he said. I mean, we just played great as a team. I mean, we couldn't have done it without having the great scout team that helped us prepare over the past 2 weeks.
And, you guys, Signal's front seven. They're a stout front seven going into this game, but then you guys took advantage of their weakness, probably their secondary. Now, on that first touchdown, did you guys just feel like, oh, the limits are possible?
Oh, yeah, we had it. I was like, after that first touchdown, I was like, oh, yeah, the sky's the limit. We was going to get this. We was going to get this win.
What about you, Alex?
We knew it was big when we had our defense get those 2 stops on the goal line, so we knew we had to get the first points. And when we got the first points, we knew we had all the momentum.
And, with they're one of their big players in Skye Wilson going down, that big running back, number 11, do you think that changed a little bit of momentum for you guys? Or do you think you guys were, even if he was still in, had plenty of confidence?
I feel like we had confidence, but I feel like that maybe hurt them a little bit because they rely so much on him. But I feel like we still had the confidence we needed.
What about you, Kareem?
I say same thing AD said, same thing.
Man, you guys are probably the best interview. You guys get the same answer. I just got to turn one way and you go the other. I mean, it's great. But, guys, now you're so high off this win. What do you guys do to make sure you keep this momentum going and make sure you don't slip up and make sure you have a good resume going into the playoffs?
We got to keep working during fall break, keep working. No days off.
No days off.
We just got to keep acting like none of this ever happened. It's just another game. We just got to keep playing every other game.
We're here at Ringgold. It was nothing I expected. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish take out Signal Mountain 35-3. With me, John Neal, I'm Jake Chapman with River City Sports. We'll see you guys next week.
Yes.